Hi everybody, this is foXnoMad, and today I want to help you travel smarter by explaining why you should never plug in your phone to USB outlets in airports, hotels, or other public spaces, why it's dangerous, and what you can do to protect yourself from those dangers. So you've probably seen those charging stations at airports or hotel rooms. You've probably seen that little USB outlet next to your lamp or something like that, and it's really convenient, especially when you're worried about getting to your next flight, to top off your phone so you don't run out of charge on your phone, which is pretty much a nightmare for any traveler. You don't know if your airplane seat is going to have a USB outlet in it, so you want to make sure that your phone is charged. And when you see those charging stations, it's really very tempting to plug in your phone quickly, but there are some really big risks that outweigh the conveniences of those ports, and here's what you need to know. So you might have seen this Forbes article which came out a couple days ago, which explains why you should never use those USB ports, but it doesn't really go into a lot of detail as to what the actual dangers are and what the scenarios are that create those dangers. So first of all, most USB ports at airports or public settings are USB 3 or 3.1, which have 4 pins, and those 4 pins have 4 jobs. The first is a ground, the second one is to transfer power to your phone, 2 others are for data transfer. That's data transfer in, and that's data transfer out, and that's where all the problems start. So when you plug in your phone to your laptop, for example, if you're charging through your laptop, you can transfer data in and out. That's how your pictures are transferred or your music library and things like that, which under normal circumstances is a good thing. You want your phone to be able to transfer data on and off your laptop. But when it comes to a USB outlet that you're not familiar with, you don't necessarily want that data transfer to occur. Now, also linked in that Forbes article was a study by IBM which showed how much cyber espionage happens at travel hubs. It didn't really have a lot of statistics onto how much cyber espionage happens at airports and hotels. I don't think you could find publicly available reliable sources or statistics based on that, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, and there have been a few reported cases where these USB ports have been muddled with. So essentially what that means, if you want an imaginary scenario, what that would look like is a spy arrives at an airport, manipulates one of the USB ports so that it can download and install malicious code to any device that's plugged into it. A few weeks later, another spy might come along and remove that hardware so that there's no trace of it at all. It's sort of a casting a wide net type of scenario. Obviously, this also can happen in hotel rooms. This can also happen at cafes or anywhere there's a public USB outlet. Now, I use the spy scenario just because it's kind of fun, but this could be any kind of malicious hacker could do this as well. So you don't ever want to plug in your phone directly into an USB outlet, but also at the same time you want to make sure that your phone stays charged. So here's a couple ways to get around that danger altogether. So the first and most simple way is to never use those USB outlets, but instead to carry a power battery. If you've seen my review of the Anker 16,000 milliamp hour battery, that battery is great. It's very reliable, small, portable, and will charge your phone over 5 times, which means you're going to be covered pretty much for any length of layover that you could imagine yourself on. So that's the first and easiest way, because that avoids any kind of contact with those USB outlets which you're not familiar with. The second way to get around this USB danger actually has 2 advantages. So the first is to get around the data transfer problem, but the second is it will actually charge your phone much faster than plugging into a standard USB outlet. What you want to do is, if you have an iPhone or an iPad ideally, or obviously any other kind of Android phone, Samsung, all of them, they usually come with a small little power brick in them where you can plug the USB port into the brick, and that brick goes into a wall outlet. That's ideal for 2 reasons. One, there's no data transfer through a wall outlet at all. And the second thing is those charging bricks actually allow more electricity to come through the wire to your phone, which means it will actually charge faster. You may have noticed this effect when you plug in your phone to a laptop or to the wall outlet. You may have noticed that your phone charges actually a lot slower. But if you take an iPhone charger, for example, or even better, the iPad charging brick, plug that into the wall outlet, your phone is going to charge much faster. And that's pretty much because there's more electricity coming through those charging bricks to your phone, means charging faster. Now, the third way to get around this danger is to use actually a USB adapter which blocks several of those data pins. So you can get these on Amazon. They're about $15 to $20 each. And what they do is they block the data transfer pins altogether, so only electricity can get through the USB port and come to your phone. Those are really handy if you charge your phone on an airplane. Now, I'm not going to go into conspiracy theories, but when you charge your phone on an airplane, when you plug that into the airplane seat or into the monitor, you don't know what kind of data or information transfer is taking place between your phone and the airline software that's running all of that information. Now, you may completely trust the airlines that just charge you $50 to bring your bag onto the plane, or if you want to be very privacy conscious and protect your data, you can use one of those USB adapters to make sure that no data is coming between your phone and the software that's running behind that USB outlet on that seat. Those are a pretty handy tool to have. I would say they're not essential, but you might be able to find an outlet on the bottom of your chair, for example. Using your USB brick, you can plug it in directly there, or you can just carry your battery around. But if you want to get one of these little USB adapters, if you travel a lot, if you work at a lot of cafes, you might not be able to find outlets, you don't want to carry a power brick, they're a nice little inexpensive way to protect your data even further. Now, it's also worth mentioning that the operating systems on your phone, so both Android and iOS, do checks to make sure that your data isn't being transferred without your consent. But pretty much everybody, when they plug in their phone to any USB outlet, is going to turn the phone on and want to use it. You're going to get a pop-up, do you want to trust this device? You're going to say yes or no. A lot of people might just hit yes just to get past that pop-up. But even if you click no, there is certain malicious code that can get around those kind of restrictions. Essentially, when you plug your phone into a USB outlet that you're not familiar with, you're opening yourself up to potential attacks, and you can easily get around those by using one of those 3 tricks that I mentioned before. And lastly, I want to talk about what the benefit would be to a malicious actor. And I think that it's sort of casting a wide net scenario, especially at an airport. A malicious actor, whether it's a hacker or a state actor or somebody like that, would pretty much just be trying to get whatever data they can. So there's no specific targeted reason. I would imagine at a hotel room that would be maybe more targeted. But essentially, this is trying to get whatever data you can. A lot of people travel through airports. People of all classes travel through airports, politicians, everybody. So there could be valuable information coming out through an airport. If you get the right phone, you might get something juicy and be able to use it to make money or whatever. So I hope this helps you avoid using USB outlets in general that you're not familiar with, but especially at airports, hotels, and other public places. These are really good places for them to cast a sort of wide net to see what information they can and they can't get. And it's the type of hack that you probably wouldn't be aware of until it happened months or years later, or even you might not ever be aware of. So I hope this helps you avoid those risks with those USB outlets. So let me know if you've ever worried about this or thought about this when using USB outlets at airports or other public places. Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Check out the merch. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.